It's the time for the package from China. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the Game Box Plus. Yeah, this is a new version and I just needed to pick it up like always, just to see what are we going to get. Of course, like always, these are just like Android boxes that they slapped in a new case, or they did something magical with it and slapped some EmuElec on it. Nevertheless, this is the Game Box Plus edition. I think I have reviewed the older versions a very long time ago. I wasn't really satisfied about it, so let's take a close look what they changed out with the Plus. Okay, so what are we going to get? Encoder box, USB cable, receiver, machine, the wireless handle, certificates. Okay, instruction, micro TF and the HDMI cable. But okay, so let's check it out. So it's a very nice cubic looking box itself. So here we do get like the system itself. And the first impression is this thing is quite heavy. So this is a brand new company. This is called Vianava, something like that, or is it Viava? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just going to be honest. Like those names are going to be butchering all freaking day. Game box 12 volt, 1 amp is needed for powering on. We do have like the USB dongle. I'm thinking this is like the one dongle to controller situation. We have seen it before. Inside, already mentioned what we're going to get. So the power adapter is absolutely like flimsy. And of course we're going to get ourselves, yep, the Chinese Place 2 knockoff controllers. And oh man, they smelled like burnt plastic. The weird thing is, like, do you know, when you're having these controllers, you can like see very quickly if they're like okay quality. To begin with, we have like the joysticks, not only the feel, but that it got like this nice rubber compound to it. When you're pressing the A, B, X, Y and basically moving around like this, you can already feel it. They're like okay quality. The D-pad is feeling very nice. It feels very loose. I really like it, but because most of them are very sturdy. The shoulder buttons are another great way to check it out, especially when it comes to the L2 and the R2. These are like feeling okay, so they're not like the best quality, especially when you're looking at the overall quality, like the cheap feel and the smell, because the smell is freaking awful. Ugh. Like I said, it's an Android box, so it comes with a manual, but not like the Android box manual. We do have like a very cheap, horrible remote. And then we have like a very extended manual. I must say, like, this is a very thick one, like with an explanation, but nothing really fancy. You can see like what you can do with it. It seems to be like we also have one with Xbox controllers, because they're showing it over here. They show you like what you can play with it, but let's take a close look in the inside later on with a teardown, because I wanted to see what kind of specs this thing has. The specifications tells a lot nowadays. So if you're having like your typical S905 X or L chip, you're not going to get amazing performance when it comes to the higher end stuff. Alright guys, so let's take a close look at the game box itself. What are the connections and what are we actually going to get with this? So over here we're going to get two USB connections for the controllers. And at the back we're going to get ourselves the RJ45 Ethernet connection, HDMI, the AV out, the TF card and the input for the power supply. So let's take a close look what kind of brand they're using. They're using like a cheap brand like always, a 128GB. Take consideration if you're having these cards, it's always like it's just recommended to back them up, because they will die off in the end. Yeah, they're really bad quality. Okay, I just needed to point out there's one thing I really like about this box. They improved. It's a little bit of a novelty, but it's pretty damn cool. So here you can see like the game box basically lights up. It's always the question like what kind of firmware are we going to get, but also what kind of theme they're using. And with this game box, the theme looks very cool. The unfortunate thing is that they removed a lot of options, and this means you can like configure controls, but there's not a lot of tinkering you can do with it. So as you can see over here, it runs on EmuElec 4.5. But nevertheless, let's take a close look at what are we going to get. So basically, they also shows a lot of, like, say, platforms that they will not support perfectly. That's something to take into consideration. These boxes are just fine for 8-bit, 16-bit stuff. But when you're looking at the compatibility, I think that is pretty interesting. Unfortunate, if there's something wrong, there's going to be a lot of, like, say, tinkering needed to get this thing to work, simply because they locked out the user, or you and me, who buys this. A little bit weird in my opinion. What I basically want to test out, I just want to go into the deep dive of like the more demanding stuff like N64, PlayStation, PlaySportable, just to see how that actually runs. Okay guys, so let's start off with some Bloody Roar 2 with PlayStation 1. I say most of these devices will run PlayStation 1 very well, depending if they configured everything correctly.
Here we go! Getting ready.
Especially when you're transforming into the beast. There we're going to get the hiccups most of the time. When we're pressing select and start at the same time, we do get like the quick menu of RetroArch, so we do have the option to make a quick load, quick save, and we can implement cheats if you want to. Alright, so next up let's try some Dead or Alive 2 on Dreamcast. It's an absolutely great game to benchmark just to see how everything runs. Oof. You can hear that here we're going to get the point that it struggles sometimes. So it's playable, but you can hear that it stutters here now and then. Of course, if we're going to choose like a less demanding game, you don't have the issue, but... Okay, so as I'm in the menu, it runs on 20 FPS. Frame skip is absolutely like enabled, you can just see it. I just wanted to try just a basic game that I know it's going to be running okay. Because God of War, Wipeout doesn't run at all. But yeah, you can see like it runs at 50 FPS. Like, why should you add something like this to it? Goes up to 30. In my opinion, you can just rather like remove the PlayStation Portable in general, because it's absolutely garbage. Wow, I got my ass kicked whooped us. Alright, so next up let's try some GoldenEye on the N64, and it's going to be like glitch freaking nightmare already. You know, beside that it has like a lot of glitches, N64 always will be a problem on these cheap boxes. Some launch titles will work. I have no idea which button to shoot. I actually shoot the guy in the balls and he still stands. So unfortunately we do have like a lot of glitches because the game seems to be running just okay. Man. Come on, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Oh man. Alright, so next up I wanted to try some Mordor Combat 2 on MAME. It's a game that doesn't run on a lot of boxes, including Pandora's box. Crap, don't know what to do with my buttons. So the weird thing is like the controller is absolutely unpleasant to play with, because there are some sharp edges to the controller, but okay, so Mortal Kombat 2 seems to be running fine on arcade, but take consideration is that with these systems, like Killer Instinct doesn't run at all. And when removing the SD card, what you're going to get is just actually the Android box that is basically underneath the EmuElec software. Or better said, it doesn't boot up into the SD card, it just boots up into the internal memory. So yeah, you can mess around with it, you can even go to the Google store, mess around there and just download some games. That is all possible, but take consideration, if you want to watch on Netflix, most of these boxes are rooted, so you're not going to get yourself a full HD resolution there. But this box clearly uses an older version of Android 9.0 to be exact. Okay guys, so it's time to do a rip and tear wicked style. Let's do a quick teardown on the inside just to see what they made. And the reason I'm saying what they made, because I'm really curious, like, is this thing any good in the inside? Some of them have some very interesting cooling methods, but some don't have cooling at all. And yeah, I can tell you, if you're going to play this thing a couple of hours every single day, yeah, it's not going to be looking good. I can tell you that. Breaking the seal because wicked is naughty. Yeah. Naughty as it can be. Ugh, it's falling apart. I must say that it looks quite interesting in the inside. But what I can see already, like they're using, again, a lot of old parts. So over here you do see the light up feature that we're going to get over here when it comes to the top game box light up. Pretty damn cool. They basically solder everything onto the PCB to getting the voltage that are needed. So they are just doing a lot of modifications here. So the other one over here, this is not for the voltage, it is just for the Wi-Fi antenna that they just stuck in here. Alright, so let's take a close look at the main board, because here it's going to be just very interesting. I'm just going to be like, this is like interesting at a certain point that it's not like because of the specification, but just the way how they made this. So they are creative. Like, look at this. So the thing that gives my most weight is this part. So they basically like glued a piece of metal to it. Like, I can't even say that it is like actually like specially made for cooling. It's just a piece of metal. And you can feel it getting really hot, so it transfers the heat okay. Yeah, so that's basically how that works. It's better than we have seen before. So here we do have like the PCB itself with this tiny cooling. But yeah, it transfers the heat very nice. So they try to improve it here and there. But this, man, if you're looking at the way how they made it, this absolutely like old stuff that they keep reusing and making just something out of it. There was no production date whatsoever. There was a lot of like numbers on it, but there was nothing seriously like saying, hey, this is absolutely the thing that we need to see. This is just a typical Android box, which is typical like specifications. Let's see if I can remove this one. Okay, I just wanted to be very careful. Try it with my, let's say, prior tools. I need to be careful that I'm not going to damage the PCB, but it's clearly to me that they used some kind of glue to get this on, because there is no like thermal paste whatsoever. There is also no movement in this. So unfortunate, there was no way of me like showing the chipset. But yeah. So new game boxes. I'm just gonna be honest, like I find it all super fascinating to see like what they're creating over there. So they try to improve it. I've been complaining a lot on this like heat problem, and yeah, it seems to be with the new models, it seems to be that they are like basically adding new ways to cool it down. It would be cool to see a more like active fans in the future, because yeah, you will have like better cooling performance. At least like a fan that sucks out the heat out of the case, but that is the main problem. The heat will be contained in the case itself, but there's no way of ventilation. You can see like there is some ventilation, but the ventilation is basically at the bottom. Yeah, so that's not like the best thing. It will be like better if it's going to be the other way around. That way like the heat will be transferred to the bottom, or bottom from the bottom to the top, and then we can have like some ventilation over here, so you can get rid of the heat and keep your freaking PCB alive. Okay guys, so this is basically what we're going to get with this new generation game box. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that I'm repeating myself here, and oh wait, it is. Because we're going to get more of the same stuff in a completely new box. They try to improve it when it comes to the software, or better said, like when it comes to the layout of the software. But there is not like a big improvement over here. So if you're just new tuning in, yeah, this can be something completely new. But if you've seen a lot of videos, there are a lot of like say the same stuff. Because when it comes to the specifications, simply with TV boxes, there are only a couple of like chipsets out there that are quite interesting in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become the Wicked family. And it will be great to see you in the next video.